Hi, this is Alexa's Zestful Lessons, where we talk about energy work and channeling. Today is part 3 of Archangel's Metatrons and the grids. So lately he's been giving a lot of meditations and self-realization of how to use his inner and outer grids with your energy vortex and your actual physical body, and how the energetic aspect of it works with your physical body. In this circumstance, I was doing a solar plexus meditation. I felt like I had some stuck emotions in that area. I was also presenting some physical symptoms, which I do work with a naturopath and a Western medicine doctor. So, of course, I go to rule out any physical stuff as well quite frequently. So if you are having physical symptoms, I also do recommend you go to a doctor. But if that's not the case, nothing's wrong with you, then, sometimes it could be a stuck emotion, right? And so this one was very intense for me. I'm not really a crying type of person, so when I release huge emotions, it's like, ugly crying and stuff, and that's just not me. So, getting to this, let's see. So he's talking about, so I did the solar plexus meditation, and at first it was like a 2-part meditation. It was like the first part was about 20 minutes long, and was doing the channeling. And the second part was actually working on that inner child aspect of my solar plexus and what was hurting me there emotionally. So the first part of the channeling, let's see, other than it is Metatron, I was getting tetrahedron, and I was like, what shape? Like I kind of figured it was like a triangle, but I was like, I'm gonna look this up to make sure that I'm not coconuts, and I was like, how does a tetrahedron, a triangle, have to do anything with solar plexus? So of course I go on the internet really quick, like kind of pause the meditation. I search on the internet on my phone, and I'm like, and it seems that sacred geometry in the solar plexus is kind of like a pyramid. So I can give you an example right here of what I'm talking about and what it would look like. So I really like this website. If anybody knows her or anything, I'm not advertising for her, but it is a really informational website. So that is a tetrahedron. It has to do with your solar plexus, and it has to do with fire and the color yellow. So this was coming up. That word tetrahedron is coming up. So I'm going to kind of jump around here because I want to start with the meditation so you can understand what I'm asking when I describe what's going on. So, you guys, now you know about grids. I would like you to practice a meditation. So I'm just going to go ahead and just roll out this meditation real quick, and then you can, then we can talk about the other aspects of it. Sit on the grounds, preferably outside if you have a space outside. I would like you to feel the earthy energy. Tap into the grids. If you feel like it would be easier, sitting next to a tree could be helpful, but not necessary. I would like you to, however, focus on the earth, the energy right above the grass. Now I would like you to breathe deeply as if you're breathing in that energy. So, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Allow it to circulate through your breath and allow the energy to move down through your torso into the earth. So it's like you're breathing it in, you're taking it in, and it's rotating into the earth, and then it's coming back into the earth. Okay. And so, Now, by using your root chakra, imagine a base of a pyramid. So a base of a pyramid is kind of like a square that sits on the ground, right? And it has 4 corners, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes up to a point, right? Basic knowledge. So it's going to start at your root chakra. And it's now built at your base. So you could even imagine that you have it building, and right now it's at the base is built. Now you imagine the top point of your tetrahedron or pyramid at your solar plexus. So the point is at your solar plexus. Now, as you feel the earth grid, tune into it. So I'm going to describe a little bit of what the earth grid looks and feels like, so that way you could kind of resonate with what I'm talking about here. You may hear sounds, maybe you feel it, maybe you see it. And then he said, Alexis, explain how each feels. And in my perspective, I mean, you could have a little bit different perspective, and that's okay. It feels like a magnetic charge. It feels like a comfortable, like, kind of like a very soothing, but very magnetic soothing. So like you're attracted to it. Like it's kind of like, you know, when you drink your morning cup of coffee and you're just like, ooh, this is so comfy, or like, you know, you're in your favorite blanket or something and you're just like, oh, I feel so grounded, so relaxed right now. That's kind of how it feels. But it's like a magnetic charge that's like cleansing you and working with your body and communicating with your body while making you feel that, oh, so nice feeling, right? Okay, and then it said, it looks to me like a bluish energy. So you can imagine like grids sitting on top of the grass. So in a sense, it is kind of like in the grass type thing, but for this scenario, I feel like it would just be easier like on the ground, but like hovering just a little bit above the ground type thing, right? It has like bluish energy lines to it, but the lines are not straight. Like I said in a previous Metatron video, they vibrate at a super fast speed, so the vibration's not really exactly easy to see, but you could tell that it's not a straight line. And it floats above the grass and kind of like a frequency wave like. So if you imagine this as a line, it kind of like goes like this a little bit. Like it's live, it's moving, and it's like this, but it's like there, and it's not exactly straight, but you could tell that there is a line. Okay, that's how it looks, and in my perspective, it seemed blue, and I associate blue with something that's alive, like the life force. Okay. It sounds like deep hums or a bit of a buzzing. It could actually have a tune or a rhythmic to it, rhythmic sound to it, depending on the part of the earth you're at. So this is what I got, because I've lived in different parts. Right now I'm in the United States, and I've lived in different parts of the United States before, and I've noticed a huge difference in the earth grids and ley lines and all that type of energetic feeling depending on where I am. So for example, if you live somewhere near a lot of volcanoes that are very, the volcanoes are very energetic, full of energy, like when you go there you feel exhilarated, like you're just being filled with healing energy. But maybe somewhere that, like in the middle of the United States, so there's not much of mountains, it's very much flat land, it kind of feels more grounding, more calm, like instead of being like, oh, I'm pumped and young energy type feeling, it kind of feels like a mature, subtle feeling. So that's how that feels, and each person, in my perspective, I feel, it sounds and it feels kind of like when I'm in these types of states that are very flat and everything, it kind of makes me feel like I get bored easy or something, because it's just so subtle. Like the sound of it's like in my perspective, but when I was on the West Coast, it kind of felt like it was like a fast speed of a rhythm hum almost. So that's my perspective of it. It's a little bit hard to explain, but that's like my senses of it. Now he said, imagine you pulling this energy up from the grid. So you're imagining the grid. You've got the feel of it, you got the sound, whatever you associate yourself with. Now imagine pulling this energy up from the earth, so you're sitting on the ground, your pyramid is at your root chakra, and you're now like part of this grid. So you're absorbing this grid into your body. From the grid to your base of pyramid, the energy shoots up like an explosive volcano. So before I get into this part, I'm going to go back to one of the beginning parts because I want to explain what exactly is happening here. So as the energy is shooting, so each of the edges, like, so there's 4 edges on the bottom, emits the energy, and it's like fire-like. So it's going from like on the grid, it's going from like a blue settled energy to now it's entering your body, and your body is kind of using this as a fiery energy. It's kind of burn off what no longer serves you. It's very straight to the point, kind of a masculine feeling to it. So each of the corners are like sparking up, right? And we're using the solar plexus energy and activating this inner tetrahedron. And what he's saying is the energy is going to shoot up into your higher chakras. Let's see here. So from the bottom points to the top is like a fiery, beaming like energy, and it could be any color that you associate yourself with. If it's still the blue color, like life force, in my perspective, or a fiery energy, like whatever resonates with you. And it's going to shoot up from these edges to the top, making a perfect beam of light, almost like if you want to, I guess, go back to the volcano thing. Kind of is like shooting up like that, but it's not like going out like this. It's kind of like straight up. And basically you're plugging yourself into the grid and activating your lower chakras, but using this sacred geometry to charge up or activate your higher chakras to open up some of your abilities. So it shoots up in a perfect beam into your higher chakras and to your crown, so heart, throat, third eye, crown, and then it's going to kind of bubble waterfall around you. It's very organized. It's not something that's messy. It's like a volcano would be, where it's like, you know, it's like beam, and then it's going to come around you like this, and it's going to like be in your vortex that's around you, your aura, your bubble, energy bubble, right? And so it's going to then, the energy go into your bubble and kind of waterfall down, and it's going to fall back into the earth and recycle into the earth. Now, before I get to the juicy facts here, I'm going to go back a little bit. Well, he said, now once you get good at this, you can direct the energy to plants and crystals and animals on earth that needs healing. So what he's asking you to do is use your inner sacred geometry in this circumstance, your solar plexus, to plug into the earth grid, because we are essentially a part of her. We're part of the stars and the universe, so we kind of have this interesting like middle ground with using earth energy, but also having the ability to be an advanced species to be able to manipulate energies in hopefully a beneficial way, right? So plugging into the grid, shooting up through the higher chakras, it's going around you back into the earth. But instead of it going back into the earth, if you would like, you could, what I noticed is I practiced this with a crystal because he was telling me this stuff and I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm going to check this out, you know? So I grabbed a crystal because I was actually inside when I did this and that was the most earthy thing I had. And so I like grabbed onto this crystal, it was a pretty big one, and I was like, okay. I was like, now let me try this. And so I imagined the pyramid and plugging into the earth, pulling the energy up. And with my third eye, because I mean, yes, some people have, I do have the abilities to see some stuff with my actual eyes, but your ability to see like auras and all that does also come from your third eye. And so when this happened, it just like started glowing. And I kind of asked Archangel Metatron, I was like, so what's happening here, you know? And he's like, you're charging the crystal, you're clearing it, basically instead of having to put it under a moon or sage or bury it or put it in, near selenite, it's kind of like you're the charging station, the clearing station, because you're using that earth energy through you. Now, if you use the crystal for something like crazy and stuff that probably like absorbs some serious negative energy, I'm not exactly sure if I would recommend this. I mean, I felt like this crystal was already kind of cleared off, but if you're practicing and you're not really sure how to do this yet, I would kind of just start with a crystal you know is kind of already cleared so you could play around with it and it could be a fun thing. Like, oh my goodness, it's glowing, or oh my goodness, this is happening. And so anyways, I'm going to go back a little bit and then I'll touch a little bit on the crystal thing in a minute. So he wanted to say that this form of healing and using the earth energy through your sacred geometry or your chakras, it heals and strengthens your outer grids, protecting your energetic body. So, you know, like when you drink, or maybe when someone comes out of surgery because the anesthesia is kind of hard on their etheric body and stuff like that, their energetic body is kind of weaker, or when you drink, it kind of like detaches from your body, and that's why they say they call, you know, drink spirits and all this other stuff, because it's like kind of puts you at a risk, I guess. But that's not to scare anybody. Drinking is not bad unless, you know, you believe it's bad, because I mean, honestly, a lot of the biggest prophets in history drink wine and all this other stuff. So I'm not trying to scare you away from alcohol. It's just kind of like knowledge on why they call it spirits. But anyways, instead of like natural stuff that you do every day could, like, for instance, stuff could interfere with your energetic field. And so instead of weakening it, we're trying to strengthen it here. So we're pulling that energy up and it's strengthening the outer grids, therefore giving you a better source of protection for yourself, kind of upping your vortex to kind of bring forward the reality that you want, kind of making you, I'm not going to say indestructible, but it's giving you a power for sure. Let's see here. Ancient civilizations practiced this both internally and physically with pyramids. So he's saying ancient civilizations used to know about this type of energy practice. They would use it internally, and then they also would use it, obviously we have pyramids physically here on Earth. They understood how to use the pyramids for free energy and other uses, and so that's what he's talking about. They would activate the pyramids, the ones that are actually on the Earth, that's the ones I'm talking about right now, by picking up the frequency of the Earth grids, and this would give them a unlimited energy, as it would recycle continuously. So because it's earth energy, it's not harmful. Obviously I wouldn't go standing on top of the pyramid while it's activated or whatever, right? So because I mean anything natural also could be bad for you, but like in a sense, like you know, generally speaking, the energy they picked up from the earth is natural energy. So if you're in a normal circumstance, you know, standing around it or something, it wouldn't necessarily affect you. Let's see here. They would use it, you know, and charge their vehicles or whatever they use to get around. They helped charge, since we are negatively charged beings, it kind of helped charge us, kind of keep us healthy, keep our immunes boosted. So it was just an all around really great thing. Anyways, and it would recycle continuously. It was at this time used in an incredibly beautiful way, but of course there was a time period where we experienced destruction and control, and you know, it was used also not in a very loving way either. So that's that. Again, I don't know how to activate them physically or any of that stuff. But I do know from what I was channeled and given this information, that is how they use the pyramids, among other things. I mean, those pyramids did a lot of things. So let's see here. Yes, back to the crystals part. If you set up a grid, so you get your crystals or whatever you want to set up a grid with, I would think mostly crystals. Set up a spot of earth. So you're going to put it on the earth. You can put it in a circle and make whatever type of grid resonates with you and your intentions. And it could, so he wants you to do this exercise while also sitting in that grid, meaning having a pyramid that reaches down from this part all the way down to this part, you know, your lower part of you, and pulling in that earth energy while sitting near or in this grid. And it could open portals. It's also been used to activate stargates, and it also changes the chemistry of the body. Once you do this, it does awaken parts of your DNA and activation codes and all types of brilliant, really advanced things that even I'm still learning about. Let's see here. It could feel very intense or very subtle. So if you feel like you want to take a step back and relax, maybe the whole building the grid thing could be for the future. And right now, just practice how, you know, manipulating this energy to heal things or whatever, right? He said, Metatron goes, if you have a garden, practice around your garden. Heal that area of earth. The plants are energetically hungry, especially those in pots. So if you have a nice little flower that's sitting in a pot or something, it's probably energetically hungry. And so you could use yourself to kind of direct energy to this plant. If it even helps, you could hold a leaf, like have a leaf sit upon your hand and imagine pulling this earth energy up into this plant. Let's see here. So Earth is also asking for you to be the pillars of light. It will help protect her, raise her frequency, and heal. So we're all walking around as pillars of light. No matter what your Earth mission is here, whether you're a light worker, starseed, just you don't want to identify with anything, whatever, everybody's main mission is to hold light in the space. Or, I mean, some people are here to teach about darkness and stuff, so that way people can raise their consciousness. But I'm saying for the people that are here that want to heal humanity and stuff, your mission is to hold light. So light, love, your energy vortex, keep it strong, big, create this big bubble of healing around the area. You will notice a lot of major souls that are here doing serious work are kind of spread out among the earth. several miles away from each other or across the planet, because it's on purpose. It's to make sure there's kind of like an even amount. We're not like all in one space, you know what I mean? So, if you weren't awake and you didn't know this already, you wouldn't be here. Okay, so use sacred geometry to hold energy for, okay, so also in my meditation, getting like really quick here because I know that this is getting a little long, I was able to, during my meditation and my inner child, kind of visit a past event that had to do with a near-death experience, and I was then able to kind of jump into that old timeline, that past memory, to be able to sustain my energy through that. So as I've waken up, I've realized that during that period in time, not only was there angels and a couple other high ascended guides with me, but it turns out that my future self, my higher self, but in like a future tense, was helping me sustain that energy, because I had learned to be able to pull that grid into my body and use the grid to help sustain the energy. So instead of, like, when you pass away, you know, your brain will still work for a while and everything, but you know, your organs are trying to shut down and everything's trying to shut down. Well, when that happens, it's like in that moment for me, my experience with this and how I healed that part of my inner child, I like held on to my dying self's energy grid, the outer part of her grid, and kind of, you know how you would hold a plant and give the plant energy? I was literally being the pillar of light for my past self and sustaining that energy for her. And so that way her organs wouldn't completely shut down. And so that was really interesting. And then the other experience I had was a birth. And birth is actually completely different on how this happens. Other than sustaining the energy with the near-death experiences, with the birth, it was a little different. So I had a home birth with one of my children, and it was kind of really intense. So when this happens, right in that birthing process, where the baby's about to come out, but it's like halfway, sorry, TMI here, but it happens to everybody. It's just like the last push or whatever. I was literally fixing the grid. So like, it's interesting. You have a big grid that's around you. You have cellular grids. You have each organ kind of holds and sustains energy for other organs, and like a grid, like it works together within a grid to each other organ. So it's really interesting. And during that time, the parts of my body that were being injured or that seemed like was suffering, I seemed to be fixing that part of the grid. And also, once the baby was birthed and all that stuff, I also was fixing the baby's grid. And my future self went to a past tense self and was fixing the outer portions of the grids to help kind of like heal them faster. And I know Reiki masters do understand the etheric body and how to go in for people that are sick and stuff and kind of mess with their energetic body to kind of heal them faster, to give their physical body a little bit of a boost. And I felt like it was similar to that, exception of, while I was fixing these grids, it was very mathematical, very like sacred geometry. It was a very interesting experience. So that was my experience with the solar plexus meditation, and also the channeling that went with Archangel Metatron. He said, so yeah, that's basically all he said, and I'm pretty sure that this will be an ongoing thing, because it seems that they want me to channel more about this subject. I feel like they're just touching a little bit on the top part of, like, you know, the baby steps of this, you know, like, let's just give them little steps at a time to give them the realization of what's going on. So I hope today that I was able to kind of be the pillar of light of information here, so that way y'all could go ahead and go off and do these amazing things, open your abilities, and maybe come back and tell me or help me with something about this. Anyways, I will catch y'all in the next video, but I hope y'all have a wonderful day.